This show brings together two artists from South Africa who have known each other since the 1970s. Vivienne Koorland and William Kentridge became friends in 1976 or 77 in South Africa. William was from Johannesburg, Vivienne from Cape Town, and this is a friendship of some 40 years. And they've been talking and thinking about art and making art in parallel with one another since that moment. The idea of putting the work together is interesting not only because this is an old friendship, but because there are really interesting themes, concerns and practices which overlap in significant ways when one looks closely at their practice. Both of these artists are interested in the archive, in the history of representations, and particularly in the material residues of the past, whether they're books or maps or drawings or texts or signs and signifiers from the past. And both of them use these in really interesting ways, layering one historical source over another. We have apartheid South Africa referenced, the Holocaust referenced, French Commune referenced, the Chinese Revolution under Mao. In both of these artists, these big historical events of the last 150 years are present through the physical traces, through the semiotic and representational residues of the past. But at the same time, there's nothing distanced or objective. It's not about a recording of history. It's about a personal relationship to history and about a situating of the self in relation to those historical events.
Painting my way through histories and constructions of histories, what interests me is not sort of primary history so much, again, like representation. It's deeply mediated for me, but it's a way of negotiating history. So I have to paint my way through it in order to wade and negotiate my way through it.
The need to make art is different from the need to make art in history. The need to make art is primary, and that gets fed by so many things around, in which history, your own thoughts, memories, desires, all of that are there. I mean, I would say that the world comes into the studio in all those different forms, whether it's newspaper articles, things you've read, things you're enraged about, things you're fearful of, and they get cut up and rearranged in the studio as a painting, as a film, as a projection, and then sent out. And that's not the same as feeling, oh, this is the, for me, this is not the same saying, this is a historical responsibility. It's a much less coherent need, but which feeds on everything around it. What both of us have in, which I think all artists do in the studio, is understanding the thinking that happens in material, what it is to be making the thing. The way in which the materials that you're working with, whether it's film or charcoal, and the activity, the hours in the studio are what actually shape, for me, what shape the thought, the ideas that come in the process of making, that are often much stronger than the initial impulse behind the work.